Yo, Ben Silk back with another video, and today I'm here with,
My name is Anthony Coletti.
and yeah, we're gonna get started today. We are gonna be predicting March Madness 2026 from the Sweet 16 and beyond, and yeah, we've got a solid bunch of games coming up in the Sweet 16, and yeah, let's get started off with maybe the most hype game, Duke and St. John. Anthony, who you got?
This based on the two teams. St. John's, they have momentum coming off a buzzer beater win. The last game they played, and Duke, they've won games, but in my eyes, they haven't really played as well. So I gotta go with St. John's. I truly do think though, if Duke, or excuse me, if Siena would have had subs and then have their whole starting five play the whole game, I think Siena would have got the upset over Duke. And Duke, they didn't really play that great last game either. So based off this, I gotta go St. John's over Duke.
No, yeah, that is for sure legit. Just want to start off talking about the Siena game. Yeah, they played them tough, and yeah, I think yeah, I agree with Anthony that they got not their starting five in the whole time. I think they would have won for sure because that team played Duke tough even with their starting five in the whole time. And yeah, Duke's been struggling in this tournament, and yeah, they take on St. John's, and I think St. John's on a bit of a one winning ACC championship and just on a run. I think they continue and beat Duke here. It's going to be a good game. By the end, I think St. John's going to find a way to pull away and get it done, and they will advance to the Elite Eight. But next up, we're going to take a look at the Michigan State game as they take on UConn, the 2-3 battle in the East. And yeah, Anthony, who you got for this one?
Uh, I gotta go with UConn. Although UConn hasn't played the best as well the past two games, they Furman played them really tough until like the final 2 minutes. Same thing with UCLA. But at Michigan State, Izzo, great coach. Both are great coaches. Dave Hurley, Izzo. It's going to be a great game for sure. I think UConn pulls out the win.
Yeah, Anthony, I agree with you there. Both solid teams by the end. I think UConn will get it done. Yes, UConn, they have been struggling a bit throughout the tournament, but I think in this game, like they did at the end of the UCLA game, they'll be able to turn it around and continue that momentum into the game against St. John's. But yeah, now let's take a look at the Iowa and Nebraska game. Iowa getting coming off an upset over Florida. Yeah, as a Gators fan, what are your thoughts on that?
Um, uh, yeah, it was just a bad game for Florida. And the final 20 seconds did not make any sense to me. I don't know. You're up by two and you're playing full court defense and leaving a wide open guy in the corner for three. And he ends up draining it, giving Iowa the lead. And then the final possession, too. I don't know what the game plan was. I, I, I'm still, like, I'm still so confused on what the game plan was. 4.5 seconds left. Uh, Xavier Lee is the fastest guy on the court. So maybe they went to him and said, dribble it and try to do something. And they didn't even attempt a shot. They didn't like I would much rather have Xavier Lee shoot the ball and have it blocked than to not even attempt a shot at all. Because you never know. And yeah, that whole last possession was so confusing, and it definitely hurt seeing my Florida Gators get upset.
Yeah, the Patriots fan this year, I feel ya. But yeah, Iowa takes on Nebraska, and yeah, who you got?
Not because Iowa beat Nebraska, but I do have Nebraska winning. I think Nebraska is a better team. I think they're just by seeing the past 2 games. Yes, Iowa does have momentum. It's going to be a really, really great game between these 2 teams. It's going to be really close. I think it's going to be down the wire, but I think Nebraska is going to pull out, and Nebraska's going to keep that game over Dublin.
Yeah, so Iowa, Nebraska. Nebraska also coming off a close win and almost a loss, as somehow that Vandy basket three did not go in. That was a crazy ending to that one as well. And yeah, so both teams coming into this one hungry after big wins. And yeah, both teams, they're going to play each other tough for sure. And I think this is going to be a game that comes down right to the end. But I think it's going to be Iowa who's going to be able to pull away at the end and get it done. And yeah, they're going to continue to pull ahead as they advance to the Elite Eight. But next up, we're going to look onto the 2-3 battle in the South, as we got Illinois. They take on Houston, and yeah, 2-3 matchup. Anthony, who you got in this one?
I gotta go with Houston in this one. I think Houston is the better team. Illinois, all these games, you guys are gonna hear me say this a lot. It's gonna be a great game for sure. But I think Houston's gonna manage to escape that game with a win.
Yeah, nothing much else to say. Just Houston, I think, is going to be able to get it done. I think they're the better team, and yeah, I just think in this matchup, Houston will be able to advance. But on to the West now. We're going to be taking a look at the Arizona and Arkansas game, and this is going to be a solid one. 2 solid teams playing pretty good this year. Arkansas coming off a win against High Point, who upset Wisconsin in the first round, and Arizona coming off a surprisingly close win against Utah State. But they have been solid throughout the season, and they're going to be a strong team to beat for sure. And yeah, it's going to be a solid game for sure. But yeah, Anthony, who you got on this one?
I have the Arizona Wildcats winning this game. They're such a great team, but both of these teams are good. I know some people that have Arkansas in their bracket winning the whole thing, which I don't think is going to happen. I think Arizona just they got a bunch of guys on their team like Cole Pete and guys like him. I just think Arizona's the better team, and they're going to get this win.
Yeah, I agree with you there. Both solid teams, but at the end of the day, Arizona, I think they just continue how they've been playing all season long, and I think Arkansas is going to give them a fight. By the end, I think this is Arizona's game to win, and they'll advance. But next up, we have 11 at Texas coming off a win against Gonzaga, and has probably been the biggest surprise so far in this tournament, some would say. But teams left. They take on Purdue, and yeah, Anthony, who you got?
So after seeing Texas Gonzaga, which also knocked me out of Survivor Pool, thanks Gonzaga. But after seeing that game, Texas is a really good. They're a really good shooting team. I don't know if Gonzaga made them look good. I don't know if Texas was just having a really good game. But after seeing that, Texas, they looked like a pretty good shooting team. And Purdue, I said this earlier, Purdue to me doesn't seem that good of a team. Like they, obviously I think they're good, but not 2 seed good. I kind of see them as like a 4 or 5 seed good. So because of this, I'm going with an upset. I'm going to go Texas over Purdue.
Yeah, this is going to be a solid game, and Texas coming into this on a run, as I was saying before, and yeah, Purdue, just like Anthony said, yeah, I don't think they're a solid team, but at the end of the day, Are they as good as the seed shows? And I think it's going to be Texas who does take this one. I do feel at this moment that Texas is the better team, and I think it'll be a surprise win. I think they'll win by around 10 points at least, and Texas will advance to the Elite Eight. But now we got Michigan. They take on Alabama, and another great game, 1 versus 4 matchup. And Anthony, who you got here?
Uh, Based off the last few games, I think Michigan is going to destroy Alabama. Sorry, those Crimson Tide fans, but Michigan just looks like the way better team. Alabama is missing one of their top scorers, who was also um, who's been out, since the start of the tournament. But I think that Michigan, way better team. With Alabama missing one of their top scorers, it's not going to help them. And yeah, I think Michigan's going to destroy Alabama. I got Michigan this
Yeah, not much to say in this one. I think it's going to be an easy win for Michigan. And yeah, called the last game as they took on St. Louis. And St. Louis, who dominated against Georgia, they're an underdog team that possibly could have gone on a run, but Michigan was able to take control over them. And their team just did a great job, especially in the second half, taking control of the game. And yeah, they just continue their success, and I think they were able to get a win like that against St. Louis. I honestly think Alabama may be an easier matchup based on what I know, and I think Michigan is going to find a way to get it done and advance. But now we got a final matchup of the Sweet 16, and we got Tennessee as they're going to take on Iowa State. And yeah, a 2 versus 6 battle. Anthony, who you got?
I got Iowa State in this game. Tennessee, coming off an upset win over Virginia. Based on the last few games, I think Iowa State's been the better team. I got to go with Iowa State here.
Yeah, well, I actually think Tennessee is going to find a way to get it done. And I think it's going to be a competitive game, but I think Tennessee is going to be able to come up with the upset here. But I don't know if it's an upset, but they'll win for sure, and they'll advance. But we're not done yet. We're going to just go through the rest of the bracket now as, those are our picks for the Sweet 16. But, let's just go through the rest of our brackets now. So, Elite Eight. For the East game, I got St. John's and UConn, and this is going to be a solid one. And I think at the end, though, I think it'll be St. John's who gets it done, just based on when they just played each other recently in the championship, and St. John's dominate. I just think St. John's will continue that momentum, go with the upper hand, and they will advance to the Final Four here. Who you got in the East?
In this game, St. John's, UConn, both teams really great teams. Both with great coaches. St. John's with Rick Pitino, UConn with Dan Hurley. I think this game's going to come down to, it's going to be a great game. I think it's going to come down to who is the better overall team, and that is UConn. St. John's, great team. Not a great shooting team. UConn's better overall team. So I got to go to UConn.
All right, so now on to the South game. Iowa. I got Iowa taking on Houston. Iowa just, would have won. If they do make it this far, would have won. It would have been on, but I think it ends here. The luck is going to end here for Iowa, and I think it's going to be a big win for Houston as they'll easily advance. Obviously, this team has been out there for years. They got experience, in this situation and in a spot like this. And yeah, I think Houston finds a way to get it done against Iowa to win the South.
Yeah, in the game I have, it is Nebraska against Houston. Different game. I got the same winner. I think Houston's going to beat Nebraska. Uh, Houston's got, I think, a better overall team than Nebraska. I think they got the better coach as well. I think they're a better overall team. I gotta go Houston, Yukon, in part of the Final Four.
All right, but now on to the West. I got Arizona. They're gonna take on Texas, and yeah, Texas, a solid team. They played great in the tournament, but at the end of the day, Arizona's gonna be too much for Texas to handle, and yeah, Arizona's too good of a team, and maybe they'll play them tough, especially in the first half. But I think this is gonna be Arizona's game to win, and yeah, I got Arizona winning the West.
I got the same result. I got Arizona winning the West too. I think at the end of the day, they're going to be too much for Texas. Yeah, I think Arizona's going to win that game.
Yeah, but now finally on to the Midwest. I got Michigan and Tennessee, and yeah, similar to my last prediction for Arizona, Michigan just the better team here. A great one by Tennessee. Yeah, Michigan. They're gonna continue their momentum. They're a great, well-rounded team, and I think they got the squad to easily get by this Tennessee team and advance to the Final Four.
And the game I have in the Midwest is Michigan versus Iowa State. If this game does happen, it's going to be a great game. It's going to come down to the wire. But I do have Michigan winning this game and winning the Midwest. I'll be the part of I just think, I keep saying this, but I do think they are the better overall team. That team has been on a really great run this tournament, and it'll end another good run in Iowa State. But I have Michigan winning the Midwest.
All right, but now on to the first semifinal game. There on the left, I got St. John's taking on Houston, and what a one for both these squads, especially St. John's, beating out Duke and UConn to get to this spot. And now they take on Houston. They've already beat two amazing teams, but I think that's going to end here. I think Houston's going to be able to, to outplay the St. John's team. And St. John's, great effort to them as I have them making it to the Final Four much farther than they did make it last year. But I think that's going to be it for them here, as I think Houston advances to the national championship.
In the game I have, the first semifinal game, I have UConn and Houston. I got to go with UConn in this one. I think Dan Hurley and UConn. But both of these teams, great teams. It'll be a really great game. It'll be down on the wire if this happens. But after seeing last year with Houston, especially when it comes to like big possessions, I just don't see them. They're not good at big time moments, big time games. And Dan Hurley has some experience in that, so I gotta go with UConn. UConn advancing to the championship.
All right, but now on to our second Final Four game off to the right. So I got Arizona and Michigan, and this is the game. The winner of this game, I think, these are the two best teams in the tournament right now. I'm not going to finish the sentence of what I'm going to say. I'll get to that in a few minutes. But, yeah, Michigan, Arizona, both these teams, it's going to be a good fight, a battle between the 2 1 seeds to get into the championship. And I think it's going to be a game that comes down right to the end, and it's a flop up. I think I see scenarios where both these teams could win this game, but at the end, I'm going to stick with who I picked in the beginning of the bracket to win it all, and I think it's going to be Arizona who advances to the national championship.
Yeah, in this game, I got it's gonna be a really it's gonna be a really great game. I think that this game will come down to a buzzer beater. One of these, if it happens,
Can see it.
both one seeds, both battling out. This it'll the winner of this game will determine who has the last possession. Who has the last possession will determine who wins this game. That's what I'm trying to say. Uh, and in my eyes, I think it's going to be Michigan. I think Michigan is going to win the game. Arizona, great. It could be different. They have the final possession. I think they're going to win the game. But this game will literally go down the wire. And whoever has the final possession, I think is going to win that game.
Yeah, if this Arizona Michigan game happens, which you gotta say it's basically not. Well, it's gonna be a solid game. It'd probably be the best game of March Madness this season for sure. And well, who knows? But I think it's gonna be a great battle between these two teams. And yeah, I look forward to seeing the result. Well, it's gonna be close one, that is for sure. But let's go on to our national champion picks now. As I got Houston, and I got them taking on Arizona, and I'll just get right to the chase here. Yeah, so Houston in the championship last year, Arizona has worked very hard to become a top team throughout the season from last year, and yeah, that has really helped this team. Yeah, just go on the one they've had and played great throughout the season, and just all the additions, just how this team's playing overall, and yeah, Houston obviously, as I was saying, experienced last year. They've been a solid team as well, and at the end of the day, however, I think Arizona is gonna get it done. They've been the better team all year long, and I think that's gonna show in this national championship game. Because Arizona's gonna get a big win, and yeah, I got Arizona to win the national championship. But something to mention, yeah, I think Michigan or Arizona, both of them could beat basically any of these teams on the other side. Houston, whoever they wind up playing. I'm gonna just say a bold prediction, and whoever wins this Arizona Michigan game, yeah, they're gonna be national champs. Those teams are just very good, and they're just tough for any team to beat. But yeah, Anthony. So who you got winning the national championship?
So my national championship, I have UConn and Michigan, and I agree exactly what you said. Whoever wins the Arizona Michigan game, I think is going to win the national championship. It's gonna this game, Michigan UConn is going to be down to the wire. I don't see like a buzzer beater happening, but I do think Michigan will win this game. But UConn definitely going to put up a good fight. I stuck with Michigan as the winner of this tournament since you could make brackets since the bracket was out. And yeah, this is really Michigan's a really good team, really great team. UConn, Dan Hurley's a really great coach. But I think Michigan's going to be too much for the UConn team. And yeah, by Michigan being the national champion.
All right. Well, Anthony's got Michigan. I got Arizona. Yeah, those are our picks for the Sweet 16. And yeah, that's going to wrap it up today. But yeah, it's going to be an exciting tournament in Sweet 16 and beyond. And yeah, and I feel like there's so much that could happen possibly, but we'll see. And we'll probably also find out how long our picks are. in a few days.
Yo,
Yep.
definitely.
And yeah, this is someone that take North Carolina to make the Final Four. So yeah,
I
have
think
some
Flo-
experience.
I think Florida would be fun for it. Look what I.
Yeah. But yeah, that's gonna wrap it up for today. I'm Ben Silk.
I'm Anthony Coletti.
I'll see you next time.